Alright, Field Manual 1067-1, Petroleum, Chapter 10, Petroleum Installation Maintenance, Section 1, Tank Farms and Pipeline Surroundings. The primary purpose of the good maintenance of the practice of the petroleum installation is to enhance safety, security, maximize the life of the practices, also enhance the workforce performance and public relations work of the personnel, military, civilian, perform better with their high standards. Safety, cleanliness, orderliness, appearance are maintained. This applies to all facilities, whether the permanent, semi-permanent, temporary, under any of the conditions of the fire prevention, integrity of firewalls, safety, security with environmental protection, with the stewardship must be considered for the petroleum installation maintenance procedures and policies. Grounds. The constant attention of the tent should be paid for the installation ground property around the pipelines. All areas should be attractive and free of fire hazards to maintain the grounds of these following steps. The mow grassy or regularly. Grassy area is regularly. Use approved environmental safety procedure for the removal of the unwanted plant with the growing inside with the fire walls and the unit fire hydrants around tank openings and fuel handling areas operation. Collect litter and trash, fallen leaves, other combustible materials. Cut overgrown bushes and foliage around the pipeline to permit patrolling and easy access for the control valves. No smoking, confined in confined phase, and treat any requirements or signposts in good condition legibly and at distance. Building shelters. Building pumps, shelters, tool sheds, other or similar structures should be kept in good condition to maintain then follow these rules. Inspect all painted areas for flaking and blistered paint with the report area with the needed painting. Check for the condition of the roof of the gutters and downspout. Report any need repairs. Remove any of the items that could become fire or safety hazards following general housekeeping procedures. Keep pumping stations dry and clean, well ventilated with approved adequate lighting devices. Firewalls and tank mounts. Firewalls, which are built around with above-ground tanks, permanent installation, usually made of the concrete or some impervious material. The firewall are subject to the damage. The mounds of the earth are covered underground tanks. Earthen firewalls, which are built around with above-ground tanks, intact. Initial areas of subject to erosion. If left unchecked, the erosion weakens firewalls so that they would not be able to act as a secondary contaminant for the spill or prevention of fire from spreading to another source. Also, eroded soil collects as the base for the firewall. If it destroys grade inside firewalls, some of the runoff of the water flows to the tank instead of it from it. The water corrodes from the tank at the bottom. That also washes away soil under the tank, causing the tank to settle. The settling puts stress on the tank structures and pipes to maintain firewall tank mounts. Follow these rules. Check for the concrete firewalls regularly with a crack for the other signs of the damage. Report any deterioration. File in an eroded area with the earthen mound of the firewall as soon as possible. Regrade earthen firewalls so that water flows away from the tank. Seed the filled area of the tank mounds outside slopes of the firewall with grassy or vines, which are gravel or asphalt-like substance to hold in place. Dress the inside slope frequently to be replaced with the eroded soil. Cover the inside slope with gravel to Permian prime. Another possibility to arrange on the inside slopes to be concrete. Another way to protect the ground is to cover the surface with rubberized petroleum impervious sheets with the earthen berms. Figure 10.1 shows the earthen wall firewall. Hangers tie down shown figure 10.2 with the page 10.3 with the U with its hatched pipeline with the bridges and truss with the concrete embedded with the pipe anchor with the shown figure 10.3 page 10.3. Or U with the long pipeline with the control of the movement of the reduced vibration. Other devices such as wire cable to the hose. Tower timbals cross brace for the dead man with anchors are used to suspend pipelines across streams and ravines. To maintain pipeline support, follow these steps. Inspect all devices monthly, warped and loose hardware to break corrosion, repair, tighten, or replace the hardware as necessary. Allow enough space for the pipeline to expand with hot weather areas and to contract in cold weather areas when there are tightening fixtures. Inspect concrete foundation with a steel rod with the pipe anchor for the signs of the damage for the corrosion every 3 months during the first year after the construction, then every 6 months thereafter. Figure 10 shows by the pipeline tie downs and hangers, pipe and hanger, pipe and tie down. Pipe and anchor, concrete foundation. Alright, walkways and railroad tracks and culverts. The roadways, walkways, railroad tracks, and culverts require that operate petroleum installation should be safe and maintained with the following these steps. Patch and repair potholes, cracks as soon as possible. Fill and wash out areas beneath roads or walkways before more damage result. Ensure that the railroad tracks loading and unloading area of tanker cars are well maintained. Check alignment with the condition, rail ties. Look for loose spikes, worn, loose switches. Unsurfaceable ground systems. Keep the pipeline culverts under roads, rail tracks, water crossing, cleaning. Inspect culverts after every heavy storm. Check with the frequently during rainy weather in spring area. After the snow melts or the ground thaws, the remain. Move any debris sediment that may be collected. Security fences. Our fences are necessary around petroleum installation to prevent trespassing, theft, and sabotage. Maintain security fences. Follow these steps. Inspect fencings or entrance gates, fences, post regularly, repair defective areas immediately. Prompt fill gaps created by erosion, animals burrowing under the fences. Alright, Section 2, Waterfront Facilities. Maintenance of waterfront facilities. Waterfront facilities and tactical marine terminals are used to transfer petroleum fuel to from tankers. Maintenance on the waterfront is a constant effort to stop potential threat with environmental cover the season, ship the weather condition, regular program, inspection, maintenance if necessary to prevent as much damage as possible from seawater, salt, air, marine organisms, sunlight, dry rot. Furthermore, the strict environmental regulations permit the spill prevention countermeasure plans require of the certain maintenance to be done with a strict time of the schedule. Every effort is made to ensure that the rules and time schedule are followed both to the letter. Speaking of their intent, emergency repairs also necessary to maintain structural damage caused by moving the vessel's ice and petroleum spills and high waves. Ongoing maintenance is essential to keep waterfront facilities from the marine terminals operational. Responsibility waterfront maintenance. Repairs and structures such as piers and pilings cannot be done without organizational maintenance personnel. However, they are responsible for maintaining pipeline hose and hose handling equipment, grounding systems, and mooring devices in the waterfront operations. Fuel pilot and jetty pipelines. Pipelines, fuel pilots, jetties are shown in Figure 10.4, page 5. The use of the protect harbors to transfer fuel. Piers and jetties are usually equipped with several pipelines to carry different fuel. The pipelines may be supported on top of pier or jetty. They may be damaged, suspended or below the pier over the hangars. Figure 10.5, page 10.5. Pier pipelines, under pipelines are subject to damage because of the alternate submerged exposed tides in the maintained pipeline system. Inspect pipeline support hangers and frequently look for corrosion chip paint. Any signs that protective coating has failed, sand the damaged areas to the bare metal if necessary. Any protective coating material such as zinc or chromate, then paint the pipeline metal supports and hangers. Alright, show the shoreline, 3 submerged pipelines, anchor, sink, buoy, marker, buoy, submarine, hose, ship anchors and chain, tanker, ship line, buoyer, sinker, and anchor is in the multi-leg mooring facility, pipelines under fuel carrier. Alright, submarine pipelines. Submarine pipelines are welded pipe sections connected with the storage tanks with the shore of the laid under the water ship mooring, but the pipelines are located with the tactical marine terminal located with the area that are not navigable by ships in any area with which there are no piers. Like pipelines suspended over the piers, submarine the pipelines are especially prone to the corrosion damage of the ocean. The onshore section should be inspected with the frequently repaired with the required underwater section should be reported with the support units. The marker of the buoys of the submarine pipelines and chains used to lift the lines off the ocean floor should be serviced the same as markers and chains of the mooring facilities. Hose line. Wire reinforced neoprene rubbers are flanged at the ends of the submarine and pier pipelines. They provide flexible connection with the tankers. Maintenance procedure for the hose line include the following. Inspect hose with the damaged shut. Kinks and bulges, worn soft spots cut for the penetrate with the wire reinforcement. Look inside of the open end of the internal damage. Repair and replace hose section coupling gaskets as needed. Keep hose line tightly capped when it is not in use. Test each 1.5 times its normal working pressure every 3 months. See Table 10.1. Warning, do not go over 125 psi unless determined that the hose were designed with the manufacturer to do more. During testing, look for leaks, bulges, distortion, and hoses. Stencil for the day of the test and hose subdued color, black or gray. Keep written record of tests. Show the hose test pressure type and size and test pressure psi. Hose handling equipment. Hose handling equipment consists of the device for the touch of the crane, slings, hoists, winches, A-frames, gain poles. The equipment is located on the end of the piers used to lift and suspend cargo hose of the full transfer, fuel transfer rig to allow the movement of the ship during the transfer operation maintenance requirement. The hose handling equipment include the following: lubricate all moving parts for the visible. Check structural damage such as the dent and bulking, cracking. Result, tighten all loose nuts, non-bolt nuts and bolts, any other loose fixtures, oil, wire cables to keep them rust free. Test wire cables at least every 6 months. Marine loading arms. Marine loading arms, Chapter 4, being used instead of the hose handling equipment may be worn at front facility with marine loading arms are hydraulic systems set up with the cables which move the piping into position. Swivel joints provide with a flexible connection between the piping and the tanker. The paint for the requirements of the marine loading arms Include the following: lubricate the ball bearing swivel joint, replace with the packing seal with the oil rings. If the leak of the device opens and swivel the joint, follow the instructions of the manufacturer manual. Inspect the outside surface for rust. If necessary, scrape bare metal, then spot paint with a primer and rust inhibiting semi-gloss enamel. Shift the hydraulic fluid with a hydraulic arm. Study the manufacturer's manual for more information. Warning: do not adjust cable with a cable-operated arm. This is not organizational level of maintenance. Lifting handle. Bollards, bits, and capstans are capstans, hardware devices used with the motor shipped up here with the jetty. The devices are usually made with cast iron steel. They're fastened to the pier with anchors. Left handling devices subject to the corrosion. The anchor bolts especially subject to the corrosion where they come in contact with the casing. Maintenance requirements of the line handling equipment include the following: grouting under the casting coat of the anchor bolts, nuts, and washer over the asphalt enamel. Inspect the grouting coatings as often as required and as needed. Mooring facilities. Multi-leg mooring facility, figure 10-4, page 10-5. Used with the anchor to anchor with a position offshore during the fuel transfer. The mooring facility located in an ocean ends pipeline, depending on the side of the tanker to moor for the moored facility, and have 3 to 5 to 7 legs, as shown in figure 10-6, page 10-8. Each leg of the multi-leg mooring facility is made up of a marker, buoy, or sinker, anchor, chain, with the chains that buoys the object of which wear and tear of the ocean-moving vessel. Maintenance requirements of the mooring facility include the following: lift chains, inspect the corrosion, uneven wear of at least once a year. Clean and recoat the chains necessary to replace worn chains. Make sure cotter keys and lock pins are securely placed in mooring chains. Inspect buoys frequently. Lift, sandblast, recoat buoys and corrosive primer, England-type floating painting at least once a year to keep them watertight to prevent corrosion. 10-6 says the buoy, chain, sinker, and anchor. All the metal structured pipelines on piers should be ground with also ship and tankers should be ground with a bind with a flexible cable during fuel transfer. The maintenance requirements of the pier ground system include the following: check all of the cable deposit connection before each transfer of operation fuel. Ensure all cables have the C-clamp device, sharp teeth with the prongs to make contact with the metal under the painted surface of the ship. Test the system frequently. Replace broken wires, tighten, loosen connections as needed. Chapter 11: Tanker Car Operations. Testing.